welcome to Business and Finance here on Echo Television International. Now, the Anchor Borrowers Loan is one among the many probes for the intervention fund given by the CBN that the government is looking at. We are seeing a 1.27 trillion naira intervention fund probing by the CBN. If we remember, when the president stepped into office looking at the probe of the former CBN governor Godwin Emefiele, we are seeing that the presidency set up an investigative committee to look into what has been going on in the CBN and what has been happening concerning monetary policies and fiscal policies. And then there have been financial reports that have been given. However, it has been taken back, that is for the ending of 2022, and then looking into the first half of the year 2023 down to the second half, and there were some discrepancies that did not tally, and then for that reason the president saw it fit that there have to be investigation going on. And then we are seeing that some of these accounts, some of these financial reports did not go smoothly, and then one of the major reasons are the intervention funds given out by the government. This is of course not without the knowledge of the government. However, the financial report coming from the CBN is not accurate, and it's as a result of these intervention funds not being accurate. So the financial report has been withdrawn, and as much as the final details of the investigation is not yet out, as the investigation will still be going on, we are seeing that the Anchor Borrowers Loan is one of the major loan, one of the intervention fund by the government that is leading to this major probe. Now we are seeing that chief executive officers of and top management of banks are going to be probed because these intervention funds were given by the CBN from the government through these banks. We have banks banks that are going to be probed, like Access Bank, GT Bank, Zenith Bank, and many other high stakeholders that were in charge of disbursing this intervention fund. Now we are seeing that these intervention funds cover lending facilities provided by the CBN through local banks, and then accelerated agricultural development scheme, and specifically the Anchor Borrowers Program. And then we have a commercial agricultural credit, we have healthcare sector intervention facility, and then we have paddy aggregation scheme. Now these are all of the intervention funds that are going to be looked into, and what has been done concerning these funds that have been given. Let's remember that these funds are not grants, most of them are loans. That's why we have the Anchor Borrower Program. You are borrowing the money. These intervention funds are not grants from the federal government, but rather they come in forms of loans, meaning be it the agricultural sector getting it, be it infrastructure, be it health sector. It means that this money were supposed to be remitted back to the banks, and then the banks to the central bank. Now it is the failure of the remittance of these loans that have caused the probe of 1.27 trillion naira. Now we are seeing that the banks that are involved, we just have about 5 banks majorly involved. We're looking at Access Bank, Fidelity Bank, we're looking at Guaranteed Trust Bank, we're looking at the United Bank of Africa and Zenith Bank, we're looking at UBA and Zenith Bank. Now we are seeing that findings are showing that there was at least 530.07 billion worth of intervention funds in Access Bank. So we're seeing Access Bank as the major stakeholder here for these funds. Now, being that the Anchor Borrowers Program is the major defaulter here, we would like to look at what this program has been, why it was created, and what has been the challenge so far that it has to create discrepancies in the financial report coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now this was an initiative from the Development Finance Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now so far it has had 70,000 beneficiaries, and we're looking at it launching in November 2015 by the former President Muhammadu Buhari in Kebbi State, the capital being Kebbi. Now, the objectives, by looking at the mere objectives of the Anchor Borrowers Program, you will know what it entails. Now, it increased bank finances to improve agricultural productivity by creating an ecosystem that drives value chain financing, and then to reduce the nation's food import bill through import substitution and enhance domestic value addition. Now, this initiative by the president was to cut down 1 trillion naira importation bill. That is, if the government is able to fund farmers, looking at the majority of what we import like rice, if the government was able to come in to give in intervention for farmers, then they will be able to cut down this 1 trillion naira bill for importation. Now, doesn't mean that the 1 trillion bill for importation will go, or the Anchor, these loans to the farmers was going to remove it completely, but looking at a significant cut down of this importation bill. Now, the beneficiaries are smallholders, farmers, and medium to large scale farmers engaged in the production of agricultural commodities across the country. Now, these have to be commodities. It's not just agricultural products, but commodities, meaning these are agricultural products that have straight value at the raw material level. These are agricultural products that are in high consumption within the country and also have export potentials. We are looking at cereals, cotton, roots and tubers, that is cassava, potatoes, yam and ginger, and by cereals, rice, maize and wheat, as we saw that the war in Ukraine and Russia has affected even the importation of wheat to the country, and we are seeing how the price of flour have gone extremely high, and every food that seems to be a common man's food is turning out to be luxury. The same with rice. We saw a massive increase in the price of rice, and from a normal meal to a luxury meal in the country. Now, we have sugarcane as one of those agricultural commodities. We have tree crops, oil, palm, cocoa, and then rubber. We have legumes, soybeans, sesame seed and cowpea, and then we have tomatoes. We have livestock. We see fish, poultry and ruminants. We're talking about cows, goats and every other ruminant animal. Now, we are seeing that this Anchor Borrowers program was targeted at agricultural commodities that we are now into importing. Now, as a result of this Anchor Borrowers scheme, that is why the president saw it fit to close down the border, because if the federal government is releasing billions of naira, sinking it into the economy for the production of all of these crops, agricultural commodities that we keep importing, then perhaps to cut down importation bill, we saw that there is a need to close the border foreign exchange to certain commodities. However, recently we are seeing that the foreign exchange has been open to these same commodities that the federal government has sink in a lot of money to their production through the Anchor Borrower program. Now, we are seeing that the reason that this is going into probe is because banks are not accounting for this money as it should be. And one of the major factors is that we are having beneficiaries not remitting what is expected. As at early this year, we just had over 500 billion naira remitted back by farmers, and we are looking trillions already synced into the program, and that is way below what is expected to be returned by beneficiaries, because these are loans, they are not grants, they are not aids. These are loans from the CBN down to the banks and to the beneficiaries, farmers, small scale and even large scale, to be able to produce these agricultural commodities. Now, the CBN have looked into it, and with much deliberation, we are seeing that even the Anchor Borrower program is going on. This is one of the latest development from the present CBN Governor Cardoso. Now, we'll keep our fingers crossed to see how this unfold. However, the probe is still going on concerning this 1.2 trillion intervention fund, and it's not only for agriculture. We are seeing it even in the health sector. We are seeing it in infrastructure development. However, why the Anchor Borrower program turns out to be top on the list, it's because a lot of money have been sinked into it, and then banks are not able to remit back what they're expected to give back to the CBN. Therefore, this investigation has revealed a lot of loophole in some of the monetary policies and programs that the CBN have embarked on in the past. Now we're seeing that currency in circulation have increased again drastically. We know that ending last year 2022, the CBN president, Governor Emefiele, at that time thought about the redesign of the currency to reduce circulation of funds, because the CBN was literally not having control of the cash flow. More cash was out there circulating than it was in the bank. And then the Naira redesign was created purposefully to bring back, to give CBN an upper head concerning the circulation of currency. But we're seeing that after the 2023 poll, where there was a cash crunch, the cash crisis and all of that, once the CBN now allowed for the old Naira notes to be legal tenders alongside the new redesigned Naira note, we saw that the aim of the CBN to be in control of the majority of the cash in the country, it had been defeated. We are seeing a complete rise of over 3.8% to 2.8 trillion naira. Now we're seeing that the currency in circulation jumped in cash transaction. We're looking at a 1.7 trillion naira jump. Figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria reveal that the currency in circulation hit 2.7 trillion naira as of the end of August this year 2023. Now the currency in circulation fell to 982.1 billion naira after the end of February 2022. We can remember the cash crunch during the period of the election. Now it maintained some steadiness for a period of time until the policy ended. Now figures obtained that from that period, 2.3 trillion naira was moved up from circulation during the period under review. Now the CBN defined the currency in circulation as currency outside the vaults of the central bank. Yes, and they were aiming towards bringing it down, in as much as it looked like there was some success recorded. But after the policy ended, we are seeing that currency in circulation out of the vault of CBN have gone high. We are looking at 2.7 trillion naira. Now, naira is not a threat to financial stability in the country. This is a reassurance coming from the the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, this is an assurance because there's been a lot of speculation, because we remember how excited the Central Bank of Nigeria was concerning the development of the naira, and a lot of people were advised it was a means to be able to be a part of the blockchain technology, having a cryptocurrency, and then the central bank to regulate some of these digital currencies saw it fit to have an naira. But then we are seeing that over the periods of some months now, it's probably not in use as it was expected, and then there are speculation that it could be a problem to the financial stability of the country. But then we are having assurance coming from the CBN governor that it has no effect on the stability of Nigeria's finances. However, it is one of those policies that is not going to be taken further by the CBN governor alongside with the anchor borrowers and then the currency redesign. And this is a new development, so we have to watch and see what the direction the CBN governor is taking towards the economy of this country. We have seen a lift in the foreign exchange of 43 items that were banned, and then we are now seeing that, okay, the Central Bank of Nigeria is not moving forward with the anchor borrowers program, is not moving forward with naira, and is also not moving forward with currency redesign. So we'll wait and see what steps will be taken, because we have this new currency already in circulation. We already have the anchor borrowers program in line, because there are farmers that have to remit still, because money from the CBN is still out there because of this program. And then now also we are seeing concerning the naira, money billions of naira have been sunk into the e-naira program to see it that it's functioning and for us to be able to have a digital currency. And now the CBN is saying is one of those things that they won't be moving along with. Now we will wait and see how things unfold concerning this policy that the CBN is dropping along the line, perhaps to peak in the nearest future. But for now, moving on, the Central Bank of Nigeria under the new administration is not moving on with these programs. Our debt profile continued to rise. It's not surprising. We are seeing state government on borrowing scheme to be able to pay salaries and arrears, and we are also seeing the Nigerian government thinking about taking a dollar loan, thinking about taking over $1.5 billion to be able to settle the deficit, but knowing fully well that this deficit is as a result of borrowed money, debt financing and debt profile. However, the government have put it that they need about $1.5 billion to be able to settle the deficit of the country. It just means more deficit in whatever English or language that the federal government decide to use. It just means more deficit to the country, and then it just means a higher debt profile. We're in the debt management office complaining that debt profile, debt servicing is increasing, is on the increase, and then of course we are going to see that our debt profile is going to increase because we have over 90% of our revenue going to debt servicing, not the debt itself. So I'm believing that the administration, we're seeing move from the Central Bank of Nigeria. We're also seeing move from the presidency to be able to curb the issue of debt. However, we are looking at as high as 87.4 trillion naira in debt, and and the numbers are external debt of about 33.3 trillion naira, and we're seeing domestic debt of about 54.1 trillion naira, and we are seeing 36 states including the FCT. So there's no state that is out or not on the list concerning debt in the country. So we're seeing that even the internal debt is higher than the external debt that is from the CBN down to commercial banks giving to states at the government level. And we are seeing that even for palliative, the government is going to go into more debt. We are having our naira still having a majestic free fall because we're now over 1,020 naira to a dollar. So we're seeing that the currency keeps devaluing, keeps going down, and then measures have been taken, have been put in place. They might be temporary, but hopefully we will start seeing some balance. Of course, our export is going to increase drastically, and there are so many factors in play here. For sure, we won't be that sure that these economic policies brought in by the new CBN governor will help, because we still have the parallel market, that is the black market, where the dollar is, the naira is as low as 1,020 naira up to 1,050 naira to a dollar, and then at the I&E window, which is now the official exchange market by the Central Bank of Nigeria, we're talking about the importers and the exporter. We are having the dollar at as high as 700 naira, as low as 776 naira to a dollar. Now these are reports coming from the FMDQ, and of course, as the exchange rate keep going, as the exchange windows keep closing week on week, we are seeing that the naira is falling. There might be a huge difference of over 200 naira to 300 naira, but either way, our currency keeps having a free fall, be it at the investors and exporter window or at the black market. We are still seeing that the IMF, despite the hardship, are commending the president's economic policy that is inclusive and then will promote growth. However, our rating has gone down from the same IMF, saying that we are not going to be at 3.2% growth forecast for the upcoming year, but we are down to 2.9%. We are having minus 0.3% to our growth rate, in as much as there is an applaud for what the president is doing, the bold economic step. We are still seeing that our growth rate is going high. This just means that for every policy that the president have taken, that the central bank has taken, we are not going to see the effect very soon. It might be positive, it might not play out well, but whatever might be the effect of these economic policies, we're not yet to see the dividends, whether it's positive or negative. It is going to take a long period of time. And aside every other thing in the country, we are having petrol pump price going high, and the prices are different spread across the country. As far as Sokoto, we are having this fuel pump price as high as 650 naira, and in the southeast we're having it as high as 700 naira. Now motorists are lamenting, of course, you know that in this region we will have the prices of food going high. There will be inflation soaring because transportation costs will be different in these areas. And then we were hoping that this subsidy removal would have been able to give a uniform oil price in the market regardless of the region, but we are seeing that there is a large difference between fuel pump price within the country, and it's not only about the fuel pump price, but we are having states like Lagos also encountering scarcity of fuel. So it's not only the pump prices that Nigerians have to deal with, but also scarcity when it comes to the availability of the premium motor spirit in Nigeria. I am Rachel Tanze. Goodbye.